There was a woman who lived at the edge of the desert, in a house built of clay and memory. Her name was Miriam, and her days passed like grains of sand, each one nearly identical, each one slipping away before she could hold it. Once she had been a dancer, not of the stage, but of life. She moved with joy, spun with freedom. Her laughter echoed through the streets like a bell, and when she walked, children followed her just to watch the way sunlight curved around her presence. People said she carried spring in her steps, that her hands could calm storms, that her heart beat with music only heaven could hear. But life has a way of changing the rhythm. Her husband, who once painted colors into her world, grew ill and faded like ink on parchment. Her son, born with eyes as wide as wonder, was taken by war before he ever learned to grow old, and slowly as grief pressed in like dry wind, the dancer stilled. Miriam stopped moving, stopped singing, stopped hoping. She survived as so many do, quietly, mechanically, feeding chickens, patching roofs, boiling tea for neighbors who barely spoke above a whisper. But inside she was parched. Until one morning the water ran out. Not from forgetfulness, not from drought. It simply stopped. The well that had served her family for generations stood empty, its mouth cracked, its echo hollow. And Miriam, too tired to panic, simply sat beside it, arms folded, heart numb. By noon, the sun burned hot and cruel. By evening, her lips dried, her throat tightened. By night, the stars stared down, distant and unconcerned. And then came the dream. She stood at the base of a mountain, holding a jar in both hands. The earth trembled, not with fear, but with awakening. And from the sky descended a man dressed not in gold or glory, but in dust and humility. His eyes held galaxies. His hands bore scars. He knelt beside her without speaking and touched the ground. From that touch, water bloomed, clearer than any she had seen, more alive than anything she had ever tasted. He filled her jar and smiled. "This well does not depend on the earth," he whispered, "but on the one who made it." When Miriam woke, her face was wet with tears, and without thinking, she walked barefoot to the well. The desert wind howled around her, and the stones bit into her soles, but she did not stop. She placed both hands on the dry stone and closed her eyes, and whispered, "You see me, I know you see me." No thunder cracked, no miracle flashed, but when she leaned over the edge, something shimmered, a trickle, then a stream, and then, like joy long buried, the water came rushing back. She fell to her knees and drank, laughing through sobs. That day, she reopened her home. She invited the old, the sick, the weary. She boiled tea again with herbs from her dried garden. She hummed while sweeping, and at night she danced, just a little. The neighbors said the water was purer than before. They came to fill their jugs, but stayed for her stories. And though she never claimed to heal anyone, many said they left lighter than they came. One evening, as twilight bathed the sand in silver, a boy arrived. Barefoot, dirty, holding nothing but a broken piece of mirror. He did not speak. He only looked at her with the same emptiness Miriam had once carried. She sat beside him in silence. And when the stars emerged, she whispered, "The world breaks us, but it doesn't have the right to keep us broken." He wept. She held him. And when he asked why she still believed, she smiled softly and said, "Because I was seen. When I thought I was invisible, when I thought I was nothing more than dust in the wind, he saw me." That night, the boy stayed, and so did others. Widows, orphans, wanderers, they called her home the House of Water. And the well, which had once run dry, never did again. Some say it was a miracle. Others say it was hope that returned, wearing the face of a man who had once knelt in the dust beside a broken woman and reminded her that even deserts bloom when heaven whispers. And Miriam? She kept dancing, because sometimes the purest worship is movement through pain, and the truest faith is believing the well will be full before you even lower the jar.